So they can hear it when they talk longer, okay?
Yeah.
Cause I don't remember that guy, what's his name, Ryan Craig or Ryan Reed.
Mr. Reed.
Oh, Cody.
Yeah.
Cody Reed.
So I didn't hear it time ago, so he must have made.
Due to order. Yes, joining for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll move towards the approval of the agenda. Any comments, questions, changes?
Oh, good.
Entertain a motion on the agenda.
I will move to approve the agenda.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, any delegations, Mr. Anderson?
No, I will talk when it comes to the superintendent's report.
All right, moving on to the proposed consent agenda. Any comments, questions on the consent agenda? Coach?
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, this is just, see, number C, designation, separation, retirement, termination of the basketball coach, high school, and it's pretty close to basketball season.
It is.
We've got someone, I assume, lined up there.
Yeah, that's the
That's
reference
There
there
you
was
go.
just.
All right.
just making, so,
Drew's
yeah.
gonna step up.
Anything to share on the basketball situation overall, or?
I think we landed on our feet. We got a very competent head coach and we got a competent JV coach and a competent C team coach. So I think we're in really good shape.
Great.
Well,
Yeah. Let's go ahead.
go ahead, then I will move to approve the proposed
That's-
consent agenda.
Appreciate you jumping on it.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to public comments,
Nothing electronic.
nothing electronic, all right? So with that, we'll move on to new business. Policy 3205, sex discrimination and sex-based harassment of students, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, this last year, the state legislature passed engrossed Senate Substitute Bill 5950, which basically says it's a civil rights compliance review that every district in the state of Washington has to comply with the laws around discrimination, which means that you have to update the wording in your sex discrimination and sex-based harassment of students. And so what I'm going to go over very quickly today is the proposed changes. And you've seen those. I will let you know that when we get to it, but when you're looking at this, most of it is just refined. And something that's brand new, when you look at definitions, the new part of it is it, for the first time, does mention sexual characteristics, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, pregnancy or related conditions, and marital status. So those are new words that were placed in this policy. Okay, most of it, like I said, is refined. There's another new point also that talks about sexual orientation, sexual expression, and gender identity that was not in the old 3205. Okay. The only change I have here is when you turn to the second page, highlighted in yellow, there are two policies that should have been removed before it got to your guys's packet. And that was, it's referring to policy 3206, which is pregnant and parenting students. We don't have that policy. and also policy 5012, which is pregnant and parenting staff members. We don't have that policy either. And when you look at other districts around us, not all the districts have that either. So that will be removed if you approve the changes. So it will reflect that change, which we don't have. But most of them are very, very similar. They're refined to a point where it just talks a little bit more detail, very similar to the last policy I talked about. And other than that, that is the policy which prohibits us from discrimination based on sex or any kind of sex-based harassment.
Okay.
It's not a new policy.
Updates from the state? Any comments or questions on policy 3205? And I will entertain a motion to accept the revision.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to levy rates approval. So this is something we've been discussing for a number of meetings now. We just had a Q&A session this past Wednesday. And we've had conversation in the past board meeting, and we'll have some here as well. But any comments or questions from the board, or Mr. Rob, if you'd like to discuss the items you're planning to put forth?
So I think for recommendation on a rate, I'm looking at $1.50. So it's just continuing the current rate, so it's a replacement levy. And the dollar amount for that would be 4.9 million. At a 2-year levy rate or 2-year levy. And just so the board knows, I talked to the county auditor to see what the election costs would be. And it's looking like it's going to be between 50,000 and 65,000 in election fees. So there's not much on the ballot. When I talked to the county auditor, they don't have anything for April yet either. So they're not quite sure. They couldn't really give us a full estimate of that point for April. So they kind of let me know what they knew at that point. I know Finley's going in February as well. As of right now, there's nothing else, but that obviously could change.
So is that 50 to 65 a shared cost with Finley, or is
Yes.
Finley paying that same amount?
I think they're paying that same amount.
Yes.
So
So you're telling me it costs $100,000 to send out?
that's what it sounds like. Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Did we ever find out what the numbers would have to be to validate the election?
Yeah, so the validation percentage, I think it's 24% of yes voters from last time have to vote again.
From
For
the last levy.
For the
So,
fees,
okay,
yeah.
so it doesn't have to do with this last election, the November
No.
election.
This is just a quick question, but is there a basis? Do they have to hire more staff to do a levy? Or what is the $50,000 we're gonna pay? What does that cover?
Covers the printing of the ballots, the mailing of the ballots, and then also the staff to administer and count the ballots. So,
So they actually individually charge kind of projects like that.
yeah.
Yes.
And now that we've gone all mail-in, it also includes our postage back.
Great. Great. So,
Are they postage paid? Then I'd put a stamp on it if I mailed it.
now have you been putting a stamp on yours?
No,
I think I
I
would say
dropped in
it's
the
paid.
box. So I guess I don't really know.
I mean,
I
if
just
you wanna
thought you
make
had to
that
put a stamp on
donation.
it.
But that is a steep price for the election, and I know that's why we were considering the April option. I suppose we have 2 weeks to consider or to continue to think about it. It's just an unfortunate reality of having to run the levy is paying for the actual election process to do so. But so hopefully we'll know more in 2 weeks. Otherwise, we just have to make a decision. So.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess to clarify for the public, the process is that the board will have to pass a resolution in advance of, is it December 10th? Is that right?
December 12th.
12th, okay. In order to qualify for the February ballot. So that would be the next board meeting. So we, again, still welcome input from the public on anything that we've discussed, including the rate, which, as Drew mentioned, we would be keeping that the same and is one of the lowest rates in the entire region, especially
Yes.
for those in our side. And we have discussed how the calculations, how that calculation works. So that simply because someone's property value goes up in the next couple of years does not guarantee that you are going to be paying more. It's a set dollar amount that we're raising, as Drew mentioned, roughly the 4.9. So, you know, if we have the Taj Mahal open right next door to us, that's going to take up obviously more of that $4.9 million levy. So that wouldn't necessarily result in increase the property taxes for education for the residents and voters of this district. But still welcome anyone's input on this, and they can email us, show up at the next meeting, whatever they would like to do to be a part of that process, because we know this is a lot of money for our community, and we live here as well, obviously. So any other comments or questions? Or
Josh, would you like me to drop the resolution then for next meeting?
I think for now that would be,
And then we can have a discussion about it.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much have to.
Yeah, so with that, I will entertain a motion for the approval of the mentioned rates and the raised dollar amount. If you can you repeat that again
Yes,
to us?
it's a $1.50 rate,
Mhm.
and approximately $4,912,907. For 2 years.
All right, all in favor of approving the levy rate as discussed? Aye. All right, moving on to board comments. I just want to start by thanking Mr. Anderson, for his steady leadership for the past, it seems like it went really quick. I know we were dealing with quite a bit. But we really appreciate you coming in here with your expertise and your steady leadership through this time. And I know it's not easy to just jump into a situation where you don't necessarily know all the situations and the various stakeholders, but I've heard nothing but great things, and it's been a pleasure working with you, and hope we can keep you on speed dial.
He's changing his number, feeling better.
I've got the opportunity to work with some very good people, so thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you.
All right, well, Mr. Anderson, we'll pass it over to you for superintendent's report.
Okay, well, I just want to report on, well, first of all, introduce our new head boys varsity basketball coach that you just approved. Drew Robb. Drew's JV assistant is Keithon Fleming, correct? And your C team coach is,
Mackenzie Burgess.
and Mackenzie coached last year, didn't she? She had the C team. So was able to get out there again today, kind of watch a little bit of your practice. I don't know if you saw me, but I kind of snuck in. He has 33 boys out total, so there'll be 3 teams, varsity, junior varsity, and then a C team. Girls have 20 kids out. They'll have 2 teams, a varsity and JV team. Wrestling has a total of 42 kids out, 30 boys and 12 girls. I'm a Washington State wrestling assessor, so I do weight assessments across our area, and I've been doing Kai-B probably for the last 4 or 5 years, and that's where they have to be assessed using pinch tests, check their weight, and also make sure that they're hydrated by doing a hydrometer test on their urine. So I'll be out tomorrow at the high school doing the assessments on our wrestlers, and then I'll do other schools in the area too. I volunteer my time because we're a wrestling family, and my sons were both college wrestlers, and so was my grandson. So lastly, as we prepare for this Thursday's Thanksgiving, just want to remind everybody not to forget about those in our community who are struggling with food insecurities, and that please donate to our local food banks. Support the local food banks, food drives in our area, so that our community can have a wonderful Thanksgiving. So thank you very much.
Yep, that's a great message, thank you. Well, with that, we'll move to executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.110, section 1G, performance of a public employee not to exceed 30 minutes with no business to follow. So we will be adjourned after that. Thank you.